So I have Dr. David Wolfe. He's a doctor of etology, and he's been a person that has been leading the pack for a long time. And we started the show a minute ago talking about what we need to do to be healthier. A lot of us are stuck at home. And the thing is, they said stay at home, but they didn't tell us what we could do to get healthier while we're at home. So a lot of us are eating Cheerios and Wheaties and ice cream and making cakes and cookies. And is that the right thing for us to be doing, David?
I don't think that would be the best thing ever at this point. But I tell you what is going on a lot right now, and I'm very excited to see it, is everyone's going, hey, where do I get seeds and what do I plant and how do I start gardening? Because it's the right time of the season. This is it. This is the planting season. So we got I think we've got more new people doing gardening right now than we've ever seen in recent American history.
Wow, that's amazing. And you have some huge gardens in Hawaii, right?
Yes, we're there. We're on 7 acres in the jungle. We have 300 chocolate trees. We've got 5 mango trees. We've got a dozen Rolinias, a dozen baobabs, 40 avocados. We got a lot of stuff going on there. A lot more than that too.
Yeah, and you also have, I think, you have a cacao, the only certified organic cacao, and vanilla plants in the United States. Isn't that correct?
Certified organic and certified biodynamic. So nice. I'm a quality guy. People finally realize that over the years, when you get bashed on the internet, to pieces, it's amazing, and I'm like, well, I'm a quality guy. People will find out one way or another, but eventually people come around, they realize, oh, I can't get this kind of quality anywhere else. And eventually they realize what's going on. But it's interesting, the bashing, because we see how one-sided it is. I have a master's degree in nutrition. I've got 2 engineering degrees. I've got a degree in political science. I've got a long history of 9 books written. I've done over 3,000 live events. And I'll get thrown under the bus. Meanwhile, Bill Gates, who's not a doctor, not a nutritionist, has nothing to do with any of this stuff, is getting all this press. Where's his credentials? His credentials?
Yeah, so that could be a whole show.
Yeah, the insanity, the bias is nuts. But I'm a quality guy, and I do grow vanilla. And I got to tell you, it's been blood, sweat, and tears to get that going. But we got it about 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I figured it out finally, really how to do it. And this year we have over 2,000 beans.
Wow.
That's a neat
amazing
thing.
So biodynamic, could you explain that to the people that are listening?
Biodynamic is the highest quality food certification in the world, and it's typically a farm that's going to be certified biodynamic, but products from that farm can be certified biodynamic. So, for example, people are into wines. They know that certified biodynamic wines are the best in the world, or definitely in that group of the best in the world. So that has to do with using homeopathic preparations for the soil, and that was all developed by Rudolf Steiner, who was a famous German philosopher, I would guess would be the best way to describe him. He also developed Waldorf education, and he's personally my favorite philosopher of all time.
And so much, are you familiar with the organization Kiss the Earth?
Yes.
Yeah. And what we're learning now is we used to till the soil. In fact, I just moved back into a house that I've owned for years, and I just moved back in, and I used to always till the soil and, tear everything out and then plant my stuff. And now I've learned that their microbiome, then there's such a big thing. We're talking about the immune system and our immune system. We need to put a little attention on our own microbiome, but the microbiome of the earth, the things that actually digest the nutrition that we put into the ground or that's in the ground, that allows the plants to actually suck up those nutrients, are very similar to the microbiome in our gut. The plant can't live without it.
It's, we might pull the analogy that the surface of our intestines is very similar to the surface of the soil.
Yeah.
And they should be related to each other. We should get some dirt in our diet at some point. If we're living naturally, that would just happen automatically. And in unnatural conditions, then we get a change where the microbiome of the soil is not the same as what's in our body, because we're never eating directly from the earth, and that causes a dysbiosis. And that's one of the reasons why we've found out the hard way that we've got to have kids playing in the dirt and having animals and to develop immunity. Otherwise, they can have a lifetime of poor immunity because they were never exposed to the microbiome of the earth and the microbiome of animals. And so therefore, they never really developed an immune response, which is appropriate for, children growing up with animals and dirt. But when you're in a city environment, it's harder. And we have all the tools. We can get somebody back to square one if they really want to, which is beautiful. But we now know that we got to start the kids off right.
Yeah, and just think about, we've seen people that raise their kids in a very protective environment, stay away from the dirt, and everything is clean. They never take their shoes off and walk on the ground. And they're some of the ones that are more susceptible to all of these things that could be in our environment right now. And I know that one of the things that you're probably one of the leaders in, and you wrote a book, Chaga, is that the name of the book?
Chaga Mushroom.
Yeah, chaga mushrooms, and you with your medicinal mushrooms, you should put out and talk about what you have that does boost the immune system, because people can't get out, they can't find this stuff, and a lot of people are nervous and scared, and so tell us about the mushroom aspect and what you recommend on a basic dose.
Okay, awesome. I live in a mushroom environment here when I'm in Canada. I have a cabin up here for many years, and we've got chagas and rishis and all kinds of medicinal mushrooms growing here. Here's what's important to understand. This is such an important breakthrough, I think. Medicinal mushrooms are mushrooms that grow on trees. Once you understand that, you understand something grand, something great, something profound. Because you remember the movie, the film Avatar. You remember where he said, "Oh, it's just a bunch of stupid trees." Yeah. Is it just a bunch of stupid trees? Well, those trees in our forests are producing our medicine, and we'll go out there, and we'll see a couple rishis. I'll pick, half of what's there. If there's 3, I'll pick 1. If there's 5, I'll pick 2. I'll always leave some for nature. Bring those home, make tea out of those. Just throw it in a teapot, just like you were going to, take green tea, throw it in a teapot. It's very, very simple. And it's delicious. It's really good. These tree mushrooms are shockingly good. Where you go, what? This is a wild food? Like what? And they're immunological in the sense that they're probably, out of all potential herb categories, the medicinal mushrooms are the most appropriate for modulating immunity right now in particular. And by modulating immunity, I mean, they don't just drive your immune system up. They don't just drive it down if it's overreacting. They do both. And that makes them elite in all herbs.
Yeah, so they basically kind of take a look. They're like smart, they sit there. Adaptogenic, I think, is a word to use. They can adapt to your body one way or another. And living in Santa Cruz here, and I know that you love Santa Cruz, and we just had our mushroom festival about a month ago. And it's I think the 25th year of it. And so That's amazing. Yeah, amazing what they bring out of the woods around here.
A friend of mine lives right up there on, if I can remember the road. She's right up the top of the Santa Cruz Mountains. What's that road up there?
Summit Road, possibly? Summit?
Yeah, she's that Summit Road, on, way up there at the top. And right on that road's an old growth, I think it was a fir tree, boom, a big old agaricon on it. Agaricon is an old growth medicinal mushroom. It only grows where there's old growth trees around. And she got a big one off of that guy, and what a treat that was. This is one of the most bitter, but one of the most medicinal of all herbs in the world, and one of the most loved. And it only comes from old growth forest. So its immunological activity it's perfected. It's part of the immune system of the forest, actually. And the analogy drives forward that it's also part of our immune system once we partake in the medicines of the forest.
That is really amazing. When you say that, I totally get the picture that they are medicine of the forest, and they build the immune system of the forest. And of course they would us as well. Now, do you have a store that you sell these things, or can they buy these teas from you?
Well, of course I have my store online, which, right now has been crazy, just trying to get people the medicine that they want. So what I ended up doing, because everyone was hunting me down for what my number one medicinal mushroom pick was, I actually got it right there, which is 22 rishis. And that's actually 13 different reishi mushrooms and 9 other medicinal mushrooms. That's my number one pick right now for the situation that we're in. So that's, I'm always trying to just chunk it down. How do we get it simple? How do we get it easy for folks to be able to access the strongest medicine available? And that's one, because it's just tincture. In fact, I just basically had a little kombucha and I filled it up with this tincture right here. That's a great way to do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
On ice. It was delicious.
Yeah, I think when I saw you down in at Cal Jam, is that the one you were giving us samples of?
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty strong stuff.
It's strong stuff. Cool. And
yeah,
it's cool. I mean, it's like you start to go, oh, this is what medicine is. I don't know how many more, oxycodone, OxyContin disasters we need to go through as a society before we go, wait a second, these people are pushing drugs. we need to go to like medicine, legit medicine that's been with us for thousands of years and has been time tested and heavily scientifically researched. And the medicinal mushrooms are that. They're allies in our favor. And it's why I got to them. It's interesting why I got there is like, I'm always looking for the simplest, easiest, best, strongest thing. And it led me to the medicinal mushrooms. It actually led me to this place that I'm at right now here in Canada, because around us, we have all the great ones. We got lion's mane, auricularia, reishi, chaga, termites, you name it, Poreas. We got everything all around us. It's wonderful. Pleurotus, dryad saddles, all of them.
Well, I think one of the things that I think, I don't know if you got the email that my book, I wrote a book called New Hope for Sciatica. Uh-huh. And it was going out with a bunch of other friends of mine on Amazon. They took it down so it was on, it became #1 bestseller in 2 hours, and they took it down because in my foreword, I started talking about the coronavirus as just the fact. And basically what I said is, gosh, this thing has really caught us at a time. It's like an alien invasion that we're not ready for. And, we're so used to going and getting the next magic pill, and the whole world is expecting us to have that next magic pill. And we don't have that next magic pill. We're all locked in our home for who knows how long. And, a lot of us believe that our immune system is strong enough to fight it, but it gets to the point where as a chiropractor, I have to, protect the rights of my patients, because we are open, taking care of people, because I want to make sure that their immune system's strong. You adjust the Atlas, it boosts the immune system by 40%. So we're doing, and I'll throw this out to the Santa Cruz, 3 adjustments for $100 is still going. If you guys want to do that, call. We're getting a lot of people in on it. And, but just call McCollum Family Chiropractic for that. But, the pill's not there. So
it's not there. It's not going to be there either. I do want to mention that to develop a vaccine for, I'm not into vaccines, as you know, because of you can't, a one size fits all thing is never appropriate for the human race. But anyway, right. In this particular situation, coronavirus is very, very difficult to even design a vaccine concept that would even have some efficacy. They failed thus far. It's not going to happen. So therefore, what they're trying to do is eliminate, which they did on February 4th, any liability for the experiments they're going to run. Right. So that should tell us all that, hey, forget that idea, because that's not going to be a successful strategy. Let's go to a successful strategy, which is working on our immunity, working on our diet, and very important, downstream cleansing, which is making sure our bowels are cleaned out and that we're emptied out, because nothing's worse than constipation on our immune system.
Yeah, and we look at the United States, we're the fattest, most overweight country in the industrialized world. We are rated 47th in the world for health. I heard recently on an AARP magazine that the average 45-year-old is already on 4 medications, prescription drugs. And hopefully this is a wake-up call that we finally take our lives seriously and realize if our health is going to be, it's up to me. This is the time for you people out there listening to decide, okay, I've got to get my gut health healthy. It's really your digestive system is the biggest immune system, because we put stuff through it. And most of it's been wiped out with glyphosate and other pesticides and herbicides and flour and sugar and all of these things that have got us to a point where a little allergen comes by and we get it. A bug comes by and we get it. Well, you don't have to. And that's why I'm on this show every week trying to give you guys tips. Like why I bring people like David Wolfe on here to help us understand from a different viewpoint, a guy that's been studying this for years, what he can tell us, not for the quick fix. We need to start doing stuff at home, and we'll go into some of that in a while. But really the bigger message is what's going to happen next year? What kind of shape are you going to be in? What's your body going to be in? Are you going to be the same person, or are you going to be healthier because you decided to change your diet?
Well said. And, I just want to say with conviction that I am not in any way concerned myself that this virus is going to have any effect on me at all, because of my long history of being on the road and battling every flu, cold, cough, fever, everything before it ever happened by preventative medicine, so that I could be healthy for all the events I was doing, 5 or 6 events a week for, 20 something years. So I just want to put that out there, because some people are so, the media brainwashing is saying there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to help yourself. There's absolutely stuff you can do. And I do want to say that this thing's not going to go away, because it will come back next year, and it'll come back the year after that, because it's now in the what we call the biome, which is the microbiome of viruses. So it's out there. And so there's only one choice you got, which is you've got to strengthen your immune system and make your immune system more resilient. And that's not that hard. It's actually fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to tell the people on the line here that if I do a 7-week Stenomic workshop. It's Dr. Pompa's cellular healing diet workshop. We put people into ketosis. We get them in intermittent fasting. We have them get rid of the inflammatory foods. And then we actually walk them into, when they're ready, a longer fast, which we know there's a term called Etaf Adji, which I know you and I love that word. It means self-eating. It means your body breaks down all of the weak, crummy cells in your body, which is what's going to make you sick. So if you want to learn how to do that, if you just dial on your cell phone 474747, 474747, and type in health e-cell or health heal the cell, HEALTHE cell, you can get into you just go right to my website and find out about it. And because it's time for us to do something, and we have to have a map, and it's an online course. So you can do it online without having to leave your house. So that's something you can do. So David, what do you do? I know you have a tribe that lives with you or works with you out there. What do you teach these friends and family of yours in order to be healthy? Because I know some of the people I've talked to that have come and they've met you and they haven't left. And you teach them how to get healthy. So what would you just tell somebody that right now that goes, I don't know what to do tomorrow, what should I do?
Okay, first thing is, as soon as you get up upon rising, drink enough water that it causes a bowel movement. That means at least 1 liter of water. So that's the first and best step you can do. Now, I would recommend, if you're going to drink a lot of water throughout the day, that you actually add a little bit of electrolytes to your water, which is sea salt and lemon. Really good combination, just a little bit of sea salt and lemon, and then start to drink that instead of just plain water, and notice changes in your hydration. Because I'm sure, Dr. McCollum, you've had that experience of drinking the 8 glasses of water every day, 8-ounce glasses of water, and then you end up dehydrated. I mean, I know I ended up there, and I started realizing, we have to have the right balance of sea salt, and I'm a sea salt fan. And I'm also a rock salt fan, but I like sea salt better. So I do like Himalayan. But you need a little bit for electrolytes. And that also has to do with energy. And once you have that stabilized where you go, whoa, I can do a workout without having to drink 5 8-ounce glasses of water. I could drink 1 with a little bit of sea salt in it. You start to realize something about what electrolytes are, how important salts are, because we've been all brainwashed that salts are terrible for us. And that's usually where I start people. And then, like, for example, when we guide people into a cleanse, and we just did a 3-week cleanse, we take them and we, instead of fasting on water, we fast on sea salt and water. Not a ton of sea salt, but enough where you feel like it's like an isotonic solution. And it makes it so much easier. I just did a 7-day water fast, actually, with sea salt, water, and charcoal. Activated charcoal.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. And, for people out there, a lot of times they come in and go, my doctor doesn't want me on salt. Well, what we're talking about is sodium chloride, 2 elements. It's table salt, and it's usually been bastardized, excuse the word, but the Himalayan sea salt, and you can get a few other ones. In fact, one of my friends has vials of like 4 or 5 different salts, that he's like a connoisseur of the salts. And we used to go out to eat meals. You can't anymore, but it's kind of cool. But the Himalayan salt is a very broad mineral salt. And one of the reasons that you take that, as the electrolyte when you do fast, is because it stops your body from cramping and burning down muscle. So if you try to do a fast and you don't know how to do it, we'll teach you in our workshop, you're going to wake up with cramps in your legs, or you'll just get crampy because your body...
Or low blood pressure.
Yeah.
Low blood pressure, too. That's another problem.
Yeah, your body's going to find... The cool thing about fasting, in the term autophagy, is your body's going to scavenge everything. It's like a scavenge hunt. It's going to break down bad cells and use the good parts of those cells to make new stem cells for you. New healthy cells. And so, but you don't want to get it to a point where it's breaking down muscle because you need minerals. So that's why you want to do that. And the charcoal, tell us the story about when you came to Harbin Hot Springs last year after the fire, and you changed my mind so much about it. Remember what you told me? This
is such a revolution. I can hardly even, it's an unending level of inspiration for me. Years ago, I was trying to figure out, okay, what I should know off the top of my head, because my field is longevity. What are the top longevity studies ever done in mice and rats and rodents and people and everything, all animals? And then I came across Fatih Musa's famous 2012 study, which is the carbon-60 molecule, which is a fraction of what's in charcoal. Eventually that led me to the longevity research of Frolkus, the great Russian gerontologist, and how he was extending the lifespans, almost doubling lifespans of mice and rats and rodents of all different kinds with activated charcoal. And that blew my mind. I couldn't believe what that was. And as I got deeper into that, I was like, this is like, doc, check this out. Activated charcoal is the number one longevity substance you can take of any single substance ever. If we're like any food, you name any nutraceutical, any olive oil with chocolate, whatever you think is the longevity thing that would increase lifespan, nothing even comes close in scientific literature to the extension of lifespan due to activated charcoal. And numbers are typically ranging from 20 to 47% increase in lifespan. That's common. And that has been common all our lives, 70 years of research.
So, and that's because it detoxifies our body, or is there other elements besides that?
Well, that's a great question. So as I got into that, guess what? It actually, we think of activated charcoal as an inert substance, but it activates 3 genetic sequences that are related to autophagy. How interesting is that? So as soon as it starts coming in your body goes, hey, well, let's start breaking stuff down. Let's get rid of this stuff. It's not just the detoxification effect of the substance itself. It triggers, obviously, epigenetically changes that increase autophagy in our body. That was some amazing stuff. When I got to that, I was like, what's this? So what I recommend for people is just, you don't have to get crazy on activated charcoal, but every time you eat out or you eat something, this is a big thing for immunity. This is how I got into this as, like a lifestyle. I can't have like a stomach flu. I got to be on stage the next day. I got a plane to catch. You know what I mean? So I always take activated charcoal with any meal where I'm like, I didn't make this meal. I'm not really sure. I'll always take 1 or 2 capsules with it just to make sure I kill any possibility of a stomach bug.
Well, you're giving me goosebumps right there, because, that's what people should be doing right now. And, because charcoal, basically it attracts heavy metals. It attracts toxins. One of my really best friends is a emergency room doc. He got his degree when he was in the Air Force. He was on 17 tours of duty. This guy just has seen it all. And I was talking to him a while back, and we were going fly fishing, which we like to do. And he goes, when you get food poisoning in, or somebody comes in with an emergency, guess what the first thing they give them is?
Activated charcoal in a slurry, like a drink.
That's it. I was blown away, because here's something that everybody should have on their shelf right now. And right now they should be taking it to help boost their immune system, just because of what's going on.
This is so critical to understand this. Almost all the time, it's at least 80% of the time, we don't catch a cold, we eat it. We eat something, right? It rocks our body. All of a sudden we go, oh no. Next thing you know, our immunity comes down, and then we got whatever. So a great preventative measure is just take 1 or 2 or sometimes 3, depends on how big of a meal you got, capsules of activated charcoal with your meal. By the way, activated charcoal does not interfere with the absorption of healthy nutrients. That has never been shown in 70 years, which is such a shocking statement, but it is true. And that was another one that I was like, whoa, that completely flipped me around, because I always bought into the charcoal sucks up all things, right? Good and bad. But it's selective, which is really interesting, because then I started getting into what in the world is going on, because it's not absorbing things, it's adsorbing things, which is more of an electromagnetic phenomenon than a like sponge phenomenon.
Yeah, that's what it does, and like even when you start to get into a little bit more highfalutin stuff like the zeolite type clay that actually has charges in it, and it will pull out the heavy metals based on charge and stuff like that, and the toxins. So I'm going to remind you what you said about Harbin, because I thought it was really interesting. It was after the fire. Yeah. And, a lot of people were, even though it had burned out, some people were in the hot tubs, but you decided to take a hike, and what you explained was an eye opener to this exact thing we're talking about.
When a massive fire happens, like what happened at Harbin Hot Springs, all that charcoal sucks up all the toxins in the environment, cleans the environment, purifies it. So I'm looking at that pool, and I see 40 people in that little pool, Harbin Hot Springs. And I thought, let me just go up here. I'm going to just do some Wim Hof cold plunging. profound, because all that water is flowing through charcoal. All these down trees that are all half burned up. So by the way, I'm also picking medicinal mushrooms out of those half burned trees, putting those in my bag, and then just doing one dip after another. The entire forest is charcoaled out. I've never been in a purer environment, cleaner environment, because charcoal, like if I have open charcoal in my room here, it will pull to itself every toxin in this room.
Yeah.
Even not with even a fan on or anything. It's an electrochemical phenomenon. You put an open charcoal in your fridge, sucks up all the odors, all the toxins, everything in that fridge, sucks it right up. So imagine entire burned down forest, what that really is like.
Pretty amazing. And I just, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about a lot of people's comments, and it's kind of related subject, but nobody's driving. Everybody's inside. The planet is healing. You know, what's interesting is one of my patients is a travel agent, even though she hasn't traveled, but she found out that, and this may or may not be true, but dolphins are even going through the canals in Venice now. Everything is so much cleaner. You know, I mean, it's just like it's kind of an amazing thing. It's like the planet decided to heal. And so something happened. Whoever knows if they want to get into conspiracy theory or not, something's happening, and you and I and everybody else in the world is coming out of this differently. And we talked about this earlier in the show. If you just tuned in, this is David Wolfe, amazing nutritionist, herbalist, mushroomist. What do you call mushroomists?
A mycologist.
Mycologist. And we're talking about what we can do to get our bodies healthy, and not just now. I mean, we want to change the world. You know, something's got to change. There's not going to be a magic pill next time around either. Those of us, like, you know, David knows he's not going to get this. I know that I'm not going to get it. Just about every chiropractor I know out there knows they're not going to get it, because we keep our immune system healthy and we treat our body well. We don't abuse our body. Our body's not a cesspool of toxins and inflammation because of what we've put in it. And you started talking about the gut before, and we touched on that, but our first line of defense is to fix our downstream pathway, which is our gut and our intestine. And you're talking about eating the charcoal for that. But what other things can we do to improve our health of our gut?
Well, one of the things that's really wonderful, if you're indoors all day and you're like, how do you make like a sauerkraut or kimchi at home, or what do you do? And years ago, Donna Gates and I filmed a nice video. She's Body Ecology Diet. She deals with people who are entirely digestively broken down every day of the week. You know, that's her main focus. That's her crowd. Yeah. And one of the most important friendly bacteria is L-plantarum, Lactobacillus plantarum. Easy to remember because it's like plantarum.
Right, plantarum.
And so if you're looking to like really get your health back in order and you're trying to get your gut health back on, I recommend just taking some L-plantarum and doing a little fermentation of your favorite vegetables, onions, cucumbers, maybe cabbage. So you dice all that up, put it in water with a little bit of salt water, and then take maybe 1 capsule or 2 capsules of L-plantarum and open it up. Just one single probiotic. You don't need the whole, 15 of them or 10 of them, just one plantarum, because that's the toughest one. And then just let that ferment for 48 hours and then start to go, oh, okay, here's what's, start to go through that experiment and taste it. Be like, okay, it's not quite fermented enough, and then you just learn about fermentation, because when we're really working to rebuild digestion, we've got to develop a friendly environment for friendly probiotic bacteria. And one of the best ones to do that is L-plantarum, just the most basic of them all.
That is such a great idea. We know this isn't going to be over tomorrow. They're not letting us out tomorrow. The school's not out yet. We're still stuck in the classroom, right? We might as well make it a classroom. I've heard that they're looking at the beginning of May or later, what have you, but you got plenty of time to learn how to do this. You can look this stuff up on the internet. A really good friend of mine, and you might know Sharika as well, she wrote a book called The Funky Kitchen. It's all about fermenting food. And this is a good time to do it. Go get some sauerkraut and carrots. And what's your quickest recipe for your favorite type of sauerkraut?
Oh, geez. I would take diced cabbage, put it in a glass container, fill it up with sea salt and water, and then put some L-plantarum right on top of it, and then shake the whole thing up, or basically I would get I use a chopstick, and I get that in there, mash it all up around, get everything mixed up, and then I pull a cheesecloth over it and just let it sit there for 24, 48 hours, and then start seeing what's happening. But definitely pretty quickly, usually within 48 hours, it's good to go and you can start eating it. And then I just will start putting on everything. We try to have one meal a day that has some fermented vegetables in it, like a sauerkraut or kimchi or something fermented in it, just for that, that friendly bacteria angle, which is what I learned from, all my years in this field. It's like, all the great civilizations, they recommended that to all their people, all throughout all history. There's always a fermented food in every civilization. And we need to get on with that one, because the longest lived people, they eat fermented food and they make it a part of their kitchen preparations.
Yeah. And, another thing too, one thing that we talk about on the class I'm doing on the cellular healing diet, which again, it's 47, 47, 47, and then type healthy cell in there or heal the cell or healthy cell. It's spelled both ways. And you'll get an invitation to come to my workshop or call McCollum Family Chiropractic and we'll help you. But see, I forgot what I was going to say now about the healthy cell.
We're going to
go ahead.
If we're going to get into more, and I do want to get into this a little bit with just making sure that we have that downstream cleansing happening. So like I start off this last cleanse with a colonic, and then
you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, let me see. How's that? You got me now? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so making sure that we have this downstream cleansing so we're not backed up in our own waste. So I really recommend getting cleaned out, colonics, enemas, so that we just get that.
You're still breaking up a little bit, but you're talking about,
bummer.
That's okay. It will come back. So you can shake your head and I'll answer for you, but are you talking about coffee enema type of stuff as well?
Yes. There you go. We had a whole group. We had over 100 people in this last cleanse doing coffee enemas for the first time ever.
Yeah. And it's so amazing. Fun. It just sucks. It helps clean the bile out. It helps clean your liver out. It sucks the junk out of your liver, because your liver is like the biggest filter in your body. It's like, besides maybe the skin, but it's like if you imagine going up to your heater, and I know you probably don't have these in Hawaii, but there's something called a heater that we have, whole house heater, and you take the filter out and it's filled up with junk. And it's all dead skin, by the way. You can't see through it. That's what our livers get like sometimes when we don't take care of our body and we don't do this cleansing stuff that David's talking about, like taking the charcoal or drinking enough water with lemon in it and some good sea salts. This is how you're going to keep your body healthy and not get stuck with this next whole, if you want to call it an epidemic or scare or what have you.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely. Yeah, we have plenty of tools to be healthy. I find it absolutely shocking that none of these tools, for example, vitamin D3, its epigenetic power to turn on 3,000 genes associated with healing.
I don't know what's going on with your voice.
We're getting, let me see if I can.
Oh, you're in Canada. I don't know. Is there a problem with you on the internet, or are you just on a landline?
Nope, I'm on the internet, and I'm the only one on the internet. I have my phone on, but it's not on the internet. It could just be I'm very far out in the woods.
Maybe you should call back on the landline, unless it straightens up here real quick. But we can stay on Zoom for sure. My hearing, can you say something? This is amazing. I mean, we have David.
Yeah, Wolfe, I can hear you. I got you fine.
Yeah, you're kind of going in and out. It's like you got a short or something.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call you just from my line right here and see if I can get you that way. So I'm gonna call you guys.
Oh, you're perfect. You're perfect now. Don't move.
Okay, I won't move. And it just sometimes out here in the forest, it's spotty internet. But I'll tell you what the benefit of that is, though. We still get to be out here with the animals and all the natural elements and all these medicinal mushrooms. So, you're going to lose on one side. You're not going to get good internet service. But on the other side, you gain. So I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.